Just turning. Hello. Welcome to this is number 6
Ooh.
of the Jess and Corey Show presents Conversations with a Squid.
Do you do that sound every time?
No, that was the first time I did that one, but I kind of like that, so I might keep that. That's funny. I'm not doing it again.
Ew.
You'll have to wait till next week.
Okay.
I hope I remember that so bad.
It just seems so natural.
It did. That's why I like it, because it just rolled.
Gross.
So this week, Jess decided to join with
Hello.
As we go through the second week of section 1 of my transformation challenge. Okay. Last week, if you remember, we went over who are you right now, and all of that entails, like jobs, hobbies, repetitive thoughts, the roles we play, and what we found fun when we were children. So this week we're going, who do you want to be?
That is the question.
That is the question. So the first question to this one, is kind of obvious, but who do you want to be, and what does that entail? A couple examples. The health. What do you want your health to look like? 5, 10, 15, maybe, hey, 20. You never know, 25, 30 years. I don't know. Depends how old you are.
True.
How long do you want to live? How long do you want to stick around, bud? Finances. What do you want your finances to look like? Hobbies. What kind of questions come to your mind, Jess, when you think of who do you want to be? How to figure that out?
I don't know what you talked about in the first week, but you had mentioned what you did as a kid. So I would go back and think about what you did as a kid and if you're doing that now or not. Because I think we do what we're supposed to do or what we actually like to do as a kid because there's no limits or boundaries,
This is hopefully true.
You just are who you are, and then the world kind of changes you. So yeah, I would look at who you were as a kid in relation to who you are now.
For sure.
That can give you a good clue into who you are supposed to be or should be.
Who would feel the most comfortable? The roles that you would play, I guess. Not that you need to be multiple personalities, but yeah. So
true self versus
role self.
Yeah.
Hello. I'm glad you're asking for attention right now. So question number 2, what do you believe is possible or impossible? Now, as far as this question goes, when figuring out who do you want to be, this is kind of the limit, isn't it? This is your self-limiting beliefs. This is what you imagine your life could be. What do you think is possible for your life, right? Where are those outside limits? And then I guess as an example, what are those self-limiting beliefs, right? What are we telling ourselves we can or cannot do, and what do you say after I am, right? Because we talked about that last week, or I talked about that last week. Anything that you say after I am, right, you're talking to your subconscious. You're actually programming beliefs, and the more you talk about it one thing in particular, the more you say one thing specifically, the more that becomes an actual belief, the more you actually absorb that into your subconscious. And that's pretty intense.
Mhm.
Um, who told you you can't? That one cuts deep. That one's pretty sensitive, because there's only so many people that we really give the authority to to tell us that we can't do something and actually believe them, right? And then last one, do you really want to? And I feel like that one's kind of an obvious example, like if you think it's impossible, I don't think you're gonna want to do it.
That's true.
But maybe not. Maybe you prove them wrong. Maybe you're like, no, fiddlesticks. That's possible. What do you think?
I think we could talk about self-limiting beliefs for
Days.
an eternity, because I feel like usually people don't realize that they have them until they decide they want to change, and then they have to become aware of them. I think it's a little bit more of a process than just being like, oh, I have this limiting belief. You really have to kind of dig deep to find the ones that you.
Well, I mean, areas that take you out of your happy place, anywhere that you get frustrated, anything that tests your patience, I think those are great areas or areas where you are least in control of your emotions can tell you a lot about your own limits, right? Those uh, areas of yourself that don't really get enough attention, right?
Yeah.
And I mean, granted, our attention is only like a flashlight in the dark, but whatever you shine that attention on or whatever you shine that light on is going to be lit up. You're going to give energy to that, right? So I think that's programming for
Yeah, for
sure.
sure.
Either way.
Yeah.
And do you really want to?
Do you really want to what? Change?
Do you really want to believe it's possible? Do you really want to be somebody else? Um,
That's a good point because there's a lot of people who are totally okay with being
I,
stuck in their
yeah,
same routines, their same habits. They're fine with their shitty life. And they
no, I
think it
mean, not
always.
to say that, I mean, if you're happy in that life, it's not necessarily shitty, but,
Sure.
um, people definitely seem to settle. And that, I mean, could be a good thing. It could be a bad thing. It depends on what you're settling on.
I think you really have to look at why you want to change who you are to really drive that change.
And that is our next question.
Oh,
Why is change important to you? What are your reasons? Uh, can you actually change it? Is this something that you can actually change? Is this something that it can actually be mended or controlled? Because breathing can't. You kind of need to do that. You can't just stop.
stop breathing.
Just don't stop.
Yeah.
Um, And I think another really big part of like a reason or why it would be important to change is if it's a selfish or unselfish, I guess, habit, if it's something that's selfish, it's not necessarily serving others, but is it serving you? And if it's I don't know, double negative to where it's not serving anybody and it's not serving you either. That's definitely a habit that would need to be changed, or a part of you that would probably benefit from changing.
Yeah.
But I think that could go both ways, because I think it can be just as detrimental if it's serving somebody else and not serving you.
I agree.
hmm So that one has a couple of double-edged swords. There's a small window there.
Yeah. And I think it just depends on what is best for you with the situation, whatever the situation is.
Yeah, absolutely. So question number 4, who are you changing for? What's your motivation? Is it motivation or is it obligation? Uh, is it worth your dedication? Are you gonna be dedicated to it? And I mean, just like any 2-year-old kid, why? I guess no, it wouldn't be 2-year-old, it'd be like 5-year-old, right? You'd be like 5 years old and be like, why? Belly button, why do you have to get up here right now? Belly button, why? So tasks for the week. We'll just get that out of the way, and then we can just free discuss, I suppose.
Okay. Free to discuss.
Free, open floor. Task number 1 this week. I wanted you to write 3 sticky notes, right? And these are ones that you're going to write on. Just a little phrase, something that you can write relatively large and see from a distance and see clearly. But you need to see these every day. These are motivational sticky notes, and I want you to put something on there that's a little bit like touching to you, right? Something that's gonna make you stop and look at it. Just some examples that I use for myself. I love myself. I am whole, and yes, I can. That's as far as those I'm gonna go into. But the 3 sticky notes need to be somewhere that you see every day. Somewhere preferably first thing in the morning and last at night, just so they are the most prominent things on your mind during your most beneficial periods of the day, right? When we're in that, was it theta brainwave state, when you wake up and you're still kind of in a dream state. I think it's theta. But then right before you go to bed, if you imprint that on your conscious mind, your subconscious mind will work on it through the night, which is super cool. It tries to turn it into a puzzle and then figure out how to accomplish said thing, or to actually digest said thing. So task number 2, a short summary or paragraph that outlines the person you want to become or your dream reality, right?
Which is crucial. I feel like if you don't have a very clear idea of who you want to be, you're not going to get very far.
Yeah. And that's what the whole point of this week is, like, who do you want to be? Really digest who it is that you're trying to be or what you're trying to become, and see if that actually fits you. See if that actually even makes any bit of difference in how you feel about yourself. And I mean, you can sit in the people that you create over time, right? Because you're in this for a few days. So if you just sit and feel the person that you want to become for a week straight, you're going to get an understanding of how that person feels, right? So write the paragraph or the summary or whatever it is, however long it is, in the, what is it, tenth? In the tenth?
Yeah.
In the
Do you mean as if it's already happened?
Write it in the past tense. So
future tense.
Write it as if it's already been done tense. I want this to be. I wanted it to be like a. I've already done this. It's something I've already achieved this. I already am this thing. And so there's not a separation between you, and that's the difficulty, is actually being worthy of what that is and understanding that it is possible. Belly button. No. It's enough.
Friggin' the kittens are attacking.
And then task number 3, 3 things you can, or 3 things you think are impossible, and then how to solve them.
What do you mean by this?
That one was my favorite out of this whole thing. That was probably my favorite little brain chart. But think about it. Think about one thing. What's one thing you think is impossible?
Are you asking me?
Yeah, I'm asking. I want you to try and think of something. What's impossible?
I don't think anything is impossible, so that's hard. Okay, I'll just come up with an example. I think it's impossible to work from home. Might be an example that someone might say.
No, it's already been done.
I know it's already been done.
Somebody's already done that.
I know.
So it means that you can do it too.
Right. Which is pretty much.
Which means it's not impossible.
The whole thing. Yeah.
That's why I love it, because when you try and think of something that's actually impossible, like when you try and think about your actual self-limiting beliefs, when you think about something that you actually think is impossible,
it's already been done.
It's probably already been done, bud. Like it's
that's one short Google away.
You're like 2 questions away from figuring out how to do it. And that's probably one of the coolest things about life in general, is that you get to pick. You get to pick, and you get to be in control of how this ride goes and how intense you want to go.
I like it intense.
Like camping?
Yeah.
Cool. Talking points. Yes. Free time.
Ooh, free time.
Free time. What do you think? So far?
I think we just said it all like it's no big deal, but these are all like huge points. Like you could sit on one of those questions for a month.
I mean, definitely could sit there for a while, and that's kind of the point. I mean, is to try and digest all of this over a week, you know. That's the thing. That's why there's tasks, to try and think about these questions over the course of a week. So it's not like something that you have to try and digest in the amount of time it takes you to listen to this thing, right? But over the course of days, I mean, not even just like a week. This should be something that you do every day.
Because we change.
Absolutely. I mean, we're constantly evolving. That's the only thing you can't stop, is changing. Change. So understanding that you are a very valuable part of this evolution of everything, the more that I think you can feel important. You can feel value in not just knowing that you're an important part of it, but in the fact that you're an integral part of it.
Mhm.
Like, it wouldn't be this without you. And that's it's a very deep understanding that it's really hard to grasp. Like,
Mhm.
th- I don't know. I don't know.
Mhm.
Um, there is no good or bad, only perception. Ooh, perception is a big one. So I've got a couple of talking notes that I put down to be able to kind of keep everything in line. But uh, perception is a wild area to, I guess, divulge on, to think about.
Mhm.
Because no two are the same.
Yeah. I feel like that's been really prevalent in my life lately because me and my mom have had several conversations about how she perceived my childhood versus how I perceived it. And she can't believe how drastically different her perception versus mine is of the same time frame,
Yeah.
you know? So it's interesting.
Not to mention, I mean, your parents don't tell you everything about that situation because one, they can't remember everything, and two, I mean, there's only certain moments that really make a memory, right? And
Yeah. Well, and adult perception versus kid perception
yeah,
is very different because kids only understand so much.
yeah. And so that situation to your parents could have been an entirely different situation,
Mhm.
but to you it was everything.
Yeah.
Or it could have just been that perfect moment to solidify something in your head. Because I mean, you're gonna pick your belief system based off of your perception. That's a
Right.
challenge.
Which is crazy because if you perceive something as
Life
bad
threatening.
or, yeah, threatening or tragic, then that's how it is until you change that
Those
perception.
that's the trauma you created there, bud.
Yeah.
What what's she doing?
I don't know.
Okay.
Anyways,
Anyways,
anyway.
we oh, this one hurts. We are only suggestible to beliefs we consciously believe to be true already.
Why does that hurt you?
Because that means that it's darn near impossible to believe something that you or to trust something that you don't already believe is true.
Hmm. Kind of stumped me on that one.
If you don't think it's true, then you're not going to believe it,
Yeah.
right?
Hmm.
Now that one's kind of two-faced just because, yeah, if somebody is lying, then it's, or if you can obviously tell it's not true, then yeah, you probably shouldn't believe it. But when it comes to uh like trauma, or when it comes to uh lifetime or lifelong belief systems in religion or politics, or what's your favorite sports team, or this is the kind of soda pop that I have to buy, or whatever it is, what grocery store you got to go
Mhm.
to, right? These are belief systems that you ingrain into your brain, and
Mhm.
so if somebody tells you that a route that's, I don't know, awkwardly out of your way to go to or go through is 10 minutes faster than the way that you're going, but you go a specific way, you have an emotional attachment to that specific way.
I've definitely done that.
For real, right? And so even if somebody tells you that that way is 10 minutes faster, I mean, what would you say, like 6 times out of 10, 7 out of 10 people just aren't willing to change it. It's not worth it.
Yeah. They like the way that they go, so it doesn't matter.
Why do I need to change? Why do I need to change?
Yeah.
Well, probably because it's stale and old.
Gotta mix it up a
You
bit.
gotta mix it up a bit. Don't worry about things outside your control. This is another one of those stoic beliefs that I really think are powerful. You know, when you try and think of things that aren't necessarily in your control, I mean, that's everything.
Mhm.
Everything outside of your brain is out of your control.
Gee, thanks. That's what I love to hear.
Yeah, but I mean,
That's
really
true.
though, your emotions are the only things that you can control other than your physical body, you know, but even then sometimes you can't control it.
Honestly, you could see that as kind of a relief. If you perceive
Yeah,
that, okay, everything's out of my control, just is what it is. I'm going to deal with myself, and that's all that matters. You could perceive it as a relief or a panic.
true.
So that's my tidbit on that one.
Okay. I mean, yeah, it can definitely go both ways.
Mhm.
Um, we don't have control over much.
No, I definitely
Either
don't
way,
have control over you.
I can't row your boat.
Precisely.
The amount of control we have over our perception of a situation is the amount of control we have over our future.
Hmm.
That was a stoner thought. Just popped into my head one day. A total download. Just whoa.
Say it again.
Blew my mind. Just I had to sit down. The amount of control we have over our perception of a situation. So, the amount of control you have over your perception
Mhm.
of any given moment,
Which is your choice.
which is the only thing you have control over, is the amount of control you have over your future. Because if you can control your perception or your emotional attachment or emotional connection to to a situation, then you can vibrate at a different frequency for a longer period of time, which is manifesting,
Basically.
basically, because now you're just aligning yourself with a better reality.
If that's what you choose.
That's all that there is. That's all there is. There's nothing, there's no other way to do it. There's nothing else out there because everything is just atoms. Everything is just a
Mhm.
frequency. It's all just a ray of light and it's all just buzzing around one speed or another. And so if you can align with the frequency or if you can sit in the emotional, I guess, turmoil and be calm, then you have control over your future. Like you are in control of your future.
Mhm.
You can do whatever you want.
Positive or negative.
This is true.
Mhm.
Connect your emotions to future events. Give thanks before they happen. Ooh, this is a Joe Dispenza quote from his book, You Are the Placebo, because as doing his research, they were finding that if you can give a future event an emotional attachment, then your body becomes accustomed to that like memory,
Mhm.
right? And the more you sit in that memory, the more it becomes a reality because you have manifested that because you are now vibrating at that frequency and you have created it, right?
Yeah,
We're
which kind of goes back to what you're saying with the who do you want to be thing and the whole write up of who they want to be. Putting emotions into that is crucial. So, who does or how does your future self feel? putting feelings into
Yeah.
what that future self
Exactly.
feels daily, thinks daily, and then being grateful for that person now and being that person now.
Yeah. Being that person. I mean, not just hoping for that person to come or hoping that job to come or hoping that that car comes. I mean, you got to have it.
You gotta
Yeah.
be it.
You gotta already
now.
have it. You gotta already be it. I mean, it's already there can't be a separation. Once there's a separation or a need, I have to have this or I need to have this, then to your subconscious, you're telling yourself you don't have that thing.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the belief. The
Right.
belief is I don't have this thing. And so now you're going to be vibrating at that frequency that
Just
I don't
lower.
have this thing. I don't have this thing. And a high vibration can't be mixed with a low vibration. It
It's
doesn't
one or the
carry it.
other.
Doesn't carry it. There's no way. It just blocks each other out. They cancel each other out. And then there becomes nothing but like static. It's white noise.
Mm-hmm.
Good luck. And trust me, it's hard because I still struggle with it. I don't have this perfect. Don't think that I've got it all figured out, but
We're trying.
we're doing our we're out here swimming. But the more you can love everything, the more you can love everything, all the little things, everything, the good and the bad. That's hard,
That's crucial.
but that changes everything. Falling in love with love. So Ram Dass teaching. He is one of my favorites, actually. He has a documentary on Gaia. I forgot the name of it.
Is that the nobody thing?
Oh, Becoming Nobody. Yeah, well done.
Thank you. I don't know where that came
Nice.
from.
Well done, dude. Yeah, Becoming Nobody by
We watched that on our honeymoon, I think.
that's one of my favorite shows, man. That one, it just touches different. It's just one of those that really speaks, to me at least.
We should watch that tonight.
That would be beautiful. Falling in love with love is an incredible idea, though, because
we are love.
We are love. Absolutely. That's all.
That's it.
Okay.
So
that's it. And we're done. Okay. See you later. See you next week.
Go ahead.
But when you fall in love with somebody, what's happening? There's a rush of chemicals. There's a blast of emotion and sexual tension and whatever, right? But on a conscious and subconscious level, before all the chemicals mix in and create these emotional or chemical rushes, right? It's just a reflection, because everything outside of yourself is just a reflection of what you feel on the inside or what you think on the inside, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because everything is just a vibration. So it's whatever vibration you're vibrating at. And so when you fall in love with somebody, all you're doing is noticing a part of yourself in someone else that you love. Hey, I love this part of you. It reminds me of me.
Which sounds selfish.
Which sounds terribly selfish, but that's exactly what happens. Like you're seeing in somebody else what you love about
yourself, or what you want to love about yourself. It could be either way, I think.
Well, it's just a reflection of you. It's the basis behind it. But I'm just sitting here trying to think about describing it, but it's like what that person does for you is what makes you fall in love with them. So it's the way that they make you feel, right?
Mm-hmm.
But they are just you. There's no difference. There's nothing, there is no separation between you and them, right? It's just a different combination of particles. So that, right? And so this is, it's so hard to describe, but at the same time, it's strangely simple. But the the connection is just a reflection. So when you're falling in love with somebody else, you're falling in love with yourself. So falling
If you're
in,
doing it right.
so you have to get outside of the thought that this one person is the only thing that you feel love from, right? So like, I mean, a hard part of that is like asking somebody, can you feel love like you do from your mom from anyone else?
Are you asking me?
Yeah, yeah.
Can I feel love from?
So the way that your mom loves you,
Yeah.
can anyone else on this planet love you the same way? Make you feel the same way?
I feel like that's hard because it's a mother's love, you know.
Exactly. So the connection between that person is the amount of, or like the emotional attachment to that person depicts how emotionally attached, or the emotion that you feel when you are with that person, or when you feel that person, right? So that love is individualized to each person, but it's the same love, right? It's just different amounts. So you're allowing a different amount of the same thing out for different people.
Yep.
Right?
Yeah.
Right? So then why? Why do you put a limit on it?
I think it's also dependent on how much you love yourself.
Oh, yeah.
Because if you don't love yourself, how, you know,
we'll go
you're
over
gonna
that
attract.
We're going to go over that next week.
Okay.
Next week is how to get there. So we're going to figure out or go over what it takes to get from who you want to be to or where you are to who you want to be.
Yeah.
Right? Like, how do you get from where you're at to where you're going? Okay, so what are the things? What are the things that you need to change? What do you need to do? Stuff like that. So any last words on
do you want to say that last statement you have on your bullet points?
My last one?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, we are a crystal inside a radio that's stuck between stations. I mean, we kind of already talked about it a little bit, but the idea that
I just like this example. It makes it easier to think about.
Yeah. But imagine yourself as a radio. And
like old school.
Old time radio.
Like the one your grandparents had.
Yeah, one that you've probably never seen before. The old time radios used to have crystals inside of them, and the crystal would vibrate at a specific frequency, or you could get the crystal to vibrate at a specific frequency, and it would pick up the radio stations and play them, right? So just imagine yourself as a crystal inside of that radio, and your emotions, our emotions are the dials.
Do you think it's your emotions, thoughts, and feelings, or strictly just emotions?
I think it's just the emotions, because the emotions control the intensity of a vibration, right? So I guess, thoughts are kindling to the fire, because
thoughts create feelings.
Yeah.
/ emotions.
So the thoughts that you have, or the electrical like sparks that are your thoughts become a chemical. That chemical turns into a protein, and that protein enters the cell, activates the gene RNA, and then divides that cell in half. And the quality of that protein, or the quality of that thought that created that protein, depicts how well that new cell has copied the DNA. So literally, the quality of your thoughts depict the quality of your cells.
That make up every bit of you.
Every freaking fiber of you is made up of the thoughts that you create. Like, it's the same frequency. It's the same thing. And that just grosses me out.
But you get to choose if your thoughts are good or bad or ugly. You know, you can choose your perception, which is also your thoughts.
Serious.
So you have ultimate control over where you are and where you want to go, I think.
Yeah. And I think that's powerful. I think that's powerful. I think it's extremely amazing that we have the choice. We have free will. We have the ability to decide which way our life goes. Now, the only question is, do we pick it? But that's a topic for another day. Not today. Awesome. Well, I think that just about wraps it up for this week.
Did you enjoy having me here today?
It was lovely. I had a great time. It's nice to not have to just talk to myself.
Have your squidette with you.
Oh, my squidette. That's very cute.
Oh my gosh.
All right. Okay. Well, say goodbye to the people.
Adios.
Okay, bye.
Okay, bye.
Love you, bye.
Love you, bye.